Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Evidence, the podcast where we dive deep into true crime cases, uncovering the facts and exploring the unanswered questions that keep us coming back for more. I'm your host, Marv, and I want to thank you for joining me today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can find links to my PayPal and Cash App in the description. Now, let's get into today's topic.
In the shadows, where the truth lies, Marv's on the case, with justice in her eyes. Unsolved mysteries, voices lost in time. She digs deeper, uncovering the crime. Beyond the evidence, she'll fight the fight. Beyond the evidence, where justice matters. Marv's the voice for the voiceless, breaking all the patterns, facts and theories, clues and controversy. Join the journey, uncovering the mystery. This is Beyond the Evidence, where justice prevails, with Marv leading the way. Truth never fails. Now get ready for this live stream. Super chat, highlight your message. Don't fall victim to the irrelevance. Hit that like, share, subscribe to Marv's Beyond the Evidence.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me on Beyond the Evidence. Ever since I went to the Flint Farmer trial in Kokomo, Indiana, I have been doing a lot of research. And with last week's events, I am now ready to start a new series. Tonight's series is called Who Holds the Power? Prosecutor Mark McCann and the Promise of Justice. Tonight, we'll be talking about Prosecutor McCann, what his duties are, what he's supposed to do for the community. And this is only the first episode. Beyond this episode, we're going to start going into specific cases that I feel he has messed up. We're going to talk about how they were messed up and how there's no justice in those cases. So I hope you'll join me. Tonight's live is set up. It's being executed right now. Tomorrow's live is all set up and ready to go. And I'll be setting up Wednesday's live tomorrow. So we're going to chug along and we're going to talk about this prosecutor in Howard County, Indiana, and what's being done there and the lack of justice. So the first way I'm going to start this out is with a new quote. You've all heard me say justice matters at the end of these live streams. Well, I've expanded on that, and this is how we're going to start tonight's live. Justice isn't automatic. It's demanded because justice matters. What happens when the person elected to protect your community starts protecting the system instead? when murder charges are dropped, mid-trial, beginning of trial, before the trial, confessions are downgraded, and families are left with silence instead of justice. Who holds the power, and who's holding them accountable? Welcome to Beyond the Evidence. I'm Marv, and tonight we begin a new series that's long overdue. Who holds the power? We're pulling back the curtain on the office of the prosecuting attorney in Howard County, Indiana, starting with the man who's held that seat for nearly 15 years, Mark McCann. Because when lives are lost and justice is delayed, we speak up because justice matters. Let's start with who is Mark McCann. Here's the basics. His current role is the prosecuting attorney of Howard County of the 62nd Judicial Circuit Court. He's been in office since January 1st of 2011. His party affiliation is Republican. His education, he's got a bachelor in psychology and criminal justice from Indiana University, Bloomington. He went to Valparaiso University School of Law in 1990. What's his legal career been like? Well, he was deputy prosecutor from 1990 to 1994, chief deputy prosecutor from 1995 to 2010. He was elected prosecutor in 2011 to the present. His last election went unopposed. He's the managing partner of McCann Legal, and he's also an adjunct instructor for IU Kokomo paralegal program. Now, as I said, he was reelected in 2022 unopposed. No challenger, no debate, no accountability. Let's read the promise made to every resident of Howard County. That promise from the prosecutor's office is to prosecute individuals charged with committing crimes in Howard County. It is our desire to ensure that the full impact of any criminal offense on you and your family is brought to the attention of the court. It is also our sincere desire that you be treated with dignity, respect, and sensitivity at all stages of the criminal justice process. That is the official mission of the Howard County Prosecutor's Office. But here's the question. Has that promise been kept? Because when families are left behind, we remind the system justice matters. Now we're going to talk about where the mission fails and the case patterns that have been happening in Howard County. Let's take a look at the patterns, because this isn't about one mistake. It's about a system of decisions that consistently fail victims and families. In 2006, Chad Rouse was unalived. The case went cold for many years. 2 suspects were indicted by a grand jury. and that was in 2023. In 2025, charges against those two suspects were dismissed. Not only once, but twice. And the second time was after the jury was sworn in. And because of that, it triggered double jeopardy. McCann cited staffing shortages and pretrial overload as reasons. What message does this send to victims and their families? Asked Chad's mother, Athena. Come to Kokomo and kill someone because you can get away with it. This isn't just a failure, it's a betrayal. Now let's pause and ask, do you believe staffing shortages justify drop murder charges? Should prosecutors be required to publicly explain case closures? What reforms would you support to hold prosecutors accountable? Drop your thoughts in the chat. I'll be reading your comments throughout tonight's live stream and the comments underneath the video if you are watching after this is aired. Your voice matters. Your outrage matters. Justice matters. Let's see who all's here tonight. Mustang, nice to see you. Andrea, hello, how are you? Misty, how are you? Good to see all of you. I see there's others watching and not chatting, and that's okay. Hope everyone is doing well tonight. This subject in holding the prosecution teams accountable is very serious. Serious to me, but more importantly, it's very serious to any of the family members who have had tragic loss due to the actions of another individual taking their loved ones' lives. That's okay, Andrea. Thanks for sharing it. And yes, please, please share this with the residents of Howard County. Because as I said, this is not the first episode. I'm going to share with all of you, before we keep going, what I have been working on. I just have to bring up the right spreadsheet. Okay. There we go. This is a spreadsheet that I have created, and it's got cases on it. If you can see it, there are 386 cases on the spreadsheet. Now, this bottom part, I have not gotten all the information for it, but I can tell you that these are missing persons cases from Wisconsin that I will be tackling. But I've got a lot of cases on here that people have been asking me to cover. And the part that I want all of you to see is this. Jason Bolton. Is on this list. Hang on, he was down here, but the other ones are coming up here. Danny Warren, Karina McClurkin, Brittany Bell, Tanner Barton, Janet Sherrar, Dennis Howard Newsom Jr., Lionel Hampton, Jeffrey Williams, Bruce Jackson, Robert Rowe, Amy Parrish and her 3 children, Teresa Cooper, Timothy Scott, Hassan Burnett, just some other Indiana cases that aren't Kokomo or Howard County. Dawn Caraville, Darlene Hulse from Kokomo, Howard County, Robert Kuntz, Chad Rouse, Rachel McGuire, Janet Urey, James Carl Gray Jr., Kelly Armstrong, Max Levine, Matthew James Smith from Grant County, Keith Allen Jewell from Howard County, Tricia Reitler, Destiny Pittman, Brandy Bradley, Julie Johnson, Shannon Sherrill from Boone County, Indiana, Lauren Spear from Monroe County, Jamie Jo Tate from Indianapolis, Ashley Morris Mullis from Muncie, Tabitha Shuck Rains from Tipton, Oline Emberton from Tipton, the Flora 4 girls, Kiana, Kiera, Cariel, and Kiani. Angie Barlow from Indianapolis, Tony Bledsoe. These are all cases that we're going to start going through. I've done extensive research on each one of them. And the Kokomo cases are going to go with this clump of episodes. Hi, James. How are you doing? So it's important, like I said, there's a lot of cases missing and unsolved. All right. And just so everybody knows who we're talking about, Mark McCann, prosecutor of Howard County. So what is the impact on the families when there are what I call teasers? Here's a preview of what's coming in this series. Julie Dalton, missing mother, no resolution. Brandy Bradley, found unalived. Her trial's coming up. With all the acquittals of alleged murderers that Mark McCann has, do we have any faith that Brandy will get justice? That her case will be any different? James Calgary Jr., there's a confession. There was reduced charges. No body recovered. Karina McClurkin, acquittal. And now obstruction charges pending. Robert Kuntz, charges dropped mid-trial. Double jeopardy invoked. So Chad's trial is not the only one that McCann has done this on. Janet Schur, overkill stabbing, still unsolved after 45 years. These families were promised dignity, respect, and justice. Instead, they got silence, delays, and excuses. We're here to change that because justice matters. Let's talk about the bigger picture. Prosecutors are elected by the people. They control which cases get charged, which ones get dropped, and which ones go to trial. They decide how to allocate their resources and whether justice is worth the effort. So when McCann says his office is understaffed, we ask, why hasn't he fought for more funding? Why hasn't he prioritized violent crime cases? Why are families paying the price for administrative failure? We're not just asking these questions. We're demanding answers. This is just the beginning in our fight. In the next episode, we're going to dive into the case of Chad Rouse, a young man who was unalived in 2006, whose family waited 16 years for an arrest. We'll show you how prosecutorial decisions shape the outcome and how the system failed to deliver justice. How the system spit in the face of his family. Because what happened last week didn't have to happen. It was the choice of Mark McCann to do what he did. He had other choices. He absolutely had other choices. But as they're saying, if you want to commit red rum, go to Kokomo, go to Howard County, because you can get away with it there. Well, we're here to call Mark McCann out, to call the rest of the prosecutors out. Why is it that they're prosecuting drug charges and all these other small piddly charges, and they're focusing on that versus the lives that were taken? Why are we hearing that a prosecutor is bringing a case to the court when they haven't even reviewed the defense evidence or discovery? That's on you, Mr. McCann. That's not on staffing shortages. You are the one that chose to bring it to trial when you didn't review the case properly. And now, for all we know, another murderer has gone free. Because your office allowed that to happen. Let's see what the chat has to say. Hey, Junior, how you doing? Maria, nice to see you. They need to start doing their jobs in that county. It's not just this county either, you guys. It's other counties. It's other states. But this one is one of the worst I have ever seen. And that's why I'm calling it out. Maria, thanks for airing this. Needs to be done. Absolutely. I agree. And like I said, Maria, I met you at the Howard County Courthouse for Flint Farmer's trial. I've met a lot of you there. Hey, Jerry. Speaking of the devil, the reason I was at the Howard County Courthouse is for Flint Farmer's trial. I got to see firsthand how the prosecution team worked. I got to see their evidence. I even talked to the assistant prosecutor outside, told him my fears for this case. Plain and simple. What happened in the end? Not guilty. And whose fault is that? I'll tell you whose fault that is. It's the Kokomo PD's fault, because they had all of the information from the beginning. But we're going to go over more of that when we go over Karina's story, because I'm laying it all out on the line. I'm bringing each and every story from Howard County and Kokomo to light, whether it's a missing persons case, whether it's a murder case, or even a suspicious case. Because the lack of professionalism, investigation, research on behalf of the officers who were in Kokomo PD during these times is disgusting. And it just keeps climbing uphill from there. It's not just Kokomo PD. It's the prosecutor's office. It's Mark McCann. And we're calling him out. Jerry says, and I thank you for your support, kid. You are so welcome. We're not done. We are not done. In this series of live streams about Justice Matters and, talking about Mark McCann and the prosecution team and these cases, we're going to point out things that they haven't done right, ways they could have done things differently, how they have brought injustice and scarred these families for life. But in the last episode, I'm going to give the power back to the residents of Howard County. I'm going to tell you who to contact. I'm going to tell you who to email. I'm going to tell you who to write to. I'm going to give you the power as the community back to make changes and tell you how that can be done. And that's most important, because Mark McCann has demonstrated that he should not be the prosecutor of any county. And he needs to go. So it's up to the people of Howard County to get him out of office. Your next election isn't that far away. Find somebody to run against him. Find somebody that can do the job correctly. find someone that can uphold their mission statement, which again is to prosecute individuals charged with committing crimes in Howard County. It is our desire to ensure that the full impact of any criminal offense on you and your family is brought to the attention of the court. It is also our sincere desire that you be treated with dignity, respect, and sensitivity at all stages of the criminal justice process. That's the main official mission of the Howard County Prosecutor's Office. And once again, I go back to say, has that promise been kept? Hell no, it hasn't. He's leaving families in the backgrounds. He's not treating them with dignity and respect and sensitivity. Hell, he's not even telling them what is going on. They have to learn it from other people in the area or from the news. That right there shows that he's not following the Howard County Prosecutor's official mission statement. What's going on, Mr. McCann? Why are you prosecuting these petty crimes and focusing on that when you have lives being taken? You have 12 prosecutors in that office. You don't have that many murder cases every year. There is no reason why you can't allocate resources, ask for help from smaller communities or counties to get everything done to prosecute these individuals. Your staffing shortages, it's an excuse. And it has to stop. And in this series, we're going to show why. Because once again, you have devastated a family. They didn't ask for their loved one to be unalived. They didn't ask that their life be taken away from them. But they sit and suffer for years and years and years of lackluster research, investigations by the PD. And then the case goes to you. You stand there, and you smile, and you do your interviews, and you're saying, we're going to get justice. And then you do crap like you did last week. And as I said earlier, you spit in the face of those families, the family members. again and again and again. And it has to stop. If you can't do your job right, get the hell out. Yeah, system needs a major overhaul is right. I know this live is my first back. Hopefully there haven't been any internet glitches like a couple weeks ago. But let everybody in Howard County know what I'm doing here. Share these videos with the Howard County groups, anybody in the community that you know. Because we're not going to let this lie. We're not going to let Mark McCann keep doing what he's been doing for the rest of his term. And together, we'll make some noise. If I have to come back to Indiana and we do community protests at the courthouse, I guess that's what we're going to do. But don't think you're alone, because others, they're seeing what's happening here from outside the community, from outside the area. And I'm hoping they will help make some noise and create the change with us. Yes, I know he's going to court on September 2nd. We'll have to wait and see if that's continued, as Mark McCann likes to do. For you, girl, I hope it's not. But knowing his track record, wouldn't be surprised if it was. Join me tomorrow night as we go over Chad Rouse's case. And as I said, there's a lot of cases from Howard County that we are going to be going over. It is probably going to take me a week and a half to 2 weeks to go over all the cases out of that county. Whether it's a missing persons case or whether it's an unsolved murder or one that has already been determined and lost by the prosecution team. Because let me tell you, when it comes to these huge charges of murder, he's not winning. He's not getting the family's justice. And that has to change. So as I said, join me tomorrow night to listen to Chad's story and how justice was dismissed. Not once, but twice. And then the next evening, we're going to meet here and we're going to go over another case. And the next evening, another case. Until we bring every case from Howard County to the spotlight. Maria, I have these scheduled to be at 8 my time, which is 9 p.m. Indiana time. And I'm making sure that I'm putting all the lives on my Marvelous Marvin page, in Beyond the Evidence, the Facebook group page, and on the Beyond the Evidence Facebook page. So 8 p.m. my time, 9 p.m. Indiana time. And we'll start going through these cases, and as we grow our audience, get more people in here. If there are family members from any of these cases that want a platform to speak on, to speak their truth, I don't hold back anything. I don't edit anything. When we go live, and you get to say whatever you want to. So if any family members are interested in talking about their loved ones' cases and what's been done and how hard it's been, reach out to me. You can email me at beyondtheevidence1@gmail.com, or one second here. You can find me at Marvelous Marvin, Beyond the Evidence, on Facebook. And I try to check all of my messages every day from there. And as I said, we have the Beyond the Evidence Facebook page. This is where I can post, show lives, you can respond and comment on what I post. But if you're interested in sharing your own posts, then oh, nope, did again. Then join the Beyond the Evidence Facebook private group. There you can post whatever you want. I do a lot of missing persons posts. People share cases that they're interested in. Right now, 7-month-old baby Emmanuel, kidnapped in California, is a big case. Bunch of missing individuals on here. Sub-articles from different cases. So join those. If you're not sure where to find those, I can show you here where to look. So if you go to Beyond the Evidence, it's Beyond the Evidence 1 on YouTube. This is what the main page looks like. And you click on 7 more links. Everything's here. The Patreon, the PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, the Facebook group, the Facebook page, our TikTok, and our X page. It's all there. And you've got the links that you can click on. All right, everyone. I am going to go for the evening. Please, like I said, share, like, subscribe. We're going to be going through a lot of stories. I showed you that spreadsheet. Those are all cases that I plan on going over, plus anything new that comes about, which there's a lot every day that is happening. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Thank you. Have a good night.